Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is about everything I wish I knew before starting year 12 or the start of 6th form. So this video will split up into different sections. Firstly, I'll give a summary as to why I think year 12 is such an important year and the main guidance I would give to people starting year 12. Secondly, and then I'll be talking about my personal experiences and what you guys can learn from them. And thirdly, I'll be giving you guys some useful tips and advice such as the jump from GCSE or the idea the importance of organization. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. So I think year 12 is a very important year for two main reasons. Firstly, this is the year where you finally decide your career path. The idea in year 12, I decided that medicine was something that I really wanted to do, and there's no limitation as to how you can do this. For instance, for me in year 12, I attended many lectures, and the subjects that I took really helped me decide that economics wasn't for me, and so I decided to pursue medicine later on. I also think in year 12 it's more of a trial year, the idea that I tried many different subjects such as maths, further maths, biology, chemistry, and economics, and so I had many different options to choose from, and I was slowly able to narrow it down so that in year 13 I can focus only on maths, biology, chemistry, because that's more important for me to be able to get into medical school. Furthermore, the second thing is the idea that this is a year where you make a lot of connections. The idea that since you attend many lectures and work experience, you develop a lot of links, and I think this is really useful later on. The idea that you're able to interact with many other people and create a good impression, I think is very important and prepares you for life after school. Furthermore, also in my year, for instance, we had different sets in year 12, and so I was positioned with people I hadn't really talked to much before. And so by talking to many more people, I was able to create many more relationships within the school and without, and I think that's really useful in year 12. Another reason as to why I think year 12 is such an important year is the idea that it teaches a lot about organizational skills. The idea that we're provided with dividers and everything, but we have to manage ourselves, I think is a big step up from year 11. The idea that instead of doing loads of different subjects that we perhaps some of them we didn't like and some of them we don't, we can now focus on the subjects we like and really be able to manage our time effectively because we want to achieve great grades in every single one. So that's it for the summary of why I think year 12 is such an important year, and now I'll be talking about my own personal experiences. So as I mentioned, I did 5 subjects in year 12, initially with maths, further maths, biology, chemistry, economics, and I also did the EPQ at the end of year 12 or the start of year 13. I think year 12 was an important year in the idea it created the foundation as to what I wanted to do later on. So in my school we had this scheme where you first learn the entire maths course, and then once you've completed it you then move on to the further maths course. So around half the year was spent on for maths, and then obviously the other half was on further maths. And so what I did is I initially joined the maths class and further maths class, and was learning all about maths and then economics and other ones. And by attending various lectures and work experiences about economics and medicine, I realized that medicine was a career choice which was more suited to me. And I think that's really important in year 12. The idea that it's about changing your views on different things and about really getting these experiences so that you can choose what's right for you. And as a result, since I didn't want to pursue economics further on, I thought there was no real purpose for me having further mathematics because I wasn't going to continue this in year 13, and so I decided to drop this and focus only on maths, bio, chem, and economics, since we had to do 4 subjects, so I had to continue economics as well, and also the EPQ. I think this was really important. I think the idea that since I had the option to drop it, I was really able to focus on the 4 subjects and achieve the best predicted grades. And I don't think I would have done this if I had further maths as well. Also with year 12, since you do fewer subjects, you have something what we like to call SIL periods. So these are supervised independent learning periods where you have periods where you learn on yourself, as stated by the name. And so I think this is really different from GCSEs. The idea in GCSEs we didn't really have this gap. And so initially in September, I didn't really know what to do in this. I mean, I tried revising here and there, and then slowly later on with the school's guidance and my own experiences, I was able to really focus. So for instance, in a lesson we learn about, let's say we take the heart in biology, and let's say there's a specific section within this that I didn't really understand. I did the topic of tachycardia, which is irregular heartbeats that's really fast. And so not understanding this topic, I was then able to review this in my in my notes afterwards in the SIL periods, and was really able to consolidate my learning. And I think that's really key. The idea in year 12 is a lot about independence. The idea that you have your own time, your own personal time, in order to work on any weaknesses that you have and really improve upon them. And having done fewer subjects, I think I had more time for this and was really able to accommodate this and really do the best in A levels as a result. So that's it for the summary of year 12 and why I think it's important, and also my personal experiences. So now moving on to the tips which I wish I knew before starting year 12 or the start of sixth form. And the first tip I think I'll give is a jump from GCSEs. The idea that at GCSEs we're provided with the notes and everything ourselves, and it's less about independence. Obviously there's a lot of subjects, and so it's a lot of work for those subjects, but at A level it's more about independent work. The idea that we have to reflect upon our own weaknesses and that our teacher can't help us step by step for everything, and it's all about gaining your independence and doing your own work. And I think that's why I particularly struggled with initially. I think during my SIL periods or during my independent periods, I wasn't really reflecting on my work, and so when I attended the next lesson, I was really confused as to what to do, because we didn't have that time of reviewing our old content first and then going on to the next lecture. They presume that we do our old content ourselves, and so learning this is really important in year 12, because by slowly understanding that you have to do your work yourselves and really understand the knowledge, I think was really key, because this would have made the lessons really smooth. And so I realized this slowly later on. I think it's perfectly valid if someone takes some time to understand, but it is really useful to understand that you need to do a lot of independent work yourselves in order to really understand the content and do not fall behind. However, just if that sounds kind of stressful, don't worry. Another way of looking at this is that at A level we do the subjects which we really enjoy, and so doing this independent work isn't as stressful. For instance, in GCSE when we had to do the subject which we really didn't enjoy, I think that's what really helped motivate me. The idea that the subjects I chose for A level were subjects which I really enjoyed and could do further on, and so I think this made the process much less stressful. The idea I could do the independent work for the subjects using different methods and was able to achieve great grades eventually because of this. Furthermore, at GCSE, it's a lot about the idea of memorizing key terms here and there, but the exact definition doesn't need to be there. However, at A level, it's very important that you really understand the content, because at GCSE you can perhaps get away with not understanding the content if you just write down the sentence that's similar to what you've learned before, and if you don't really understand it. However, in A level, it's really important that you understand the content provided and the idea that you memorize it really well, because in the exams they give really abstract examples which you have to apply your scientific knowledge to, and so if you didn't understand the content, then this will be really difficult for you, since you won't be able to apply the knowledge and you won't be able to get the exact definition marks because you haven't memorized the definitions. And so that's where a bit of extra work can be done. The idea you memorize the exact definitions and you make sure you understand the content so you can apply it to any type of example. So now moving on to the second tip is the idea of organization. And organization is so important. Whether it's GCSE or year 12, I think it's very important and you guys should really be on the top of this. So in GCSE, for instance, we had books. We had notebooks in which the teachers gave us notes. We used to stick them down or write in the notebooks. However, in year 13, and so in year 12, that we have to buy ourselves, for example, the lever arch files or the folders, and they were provided with notes. And so it's really important that you systematically organize your notes. For example, I had all my notes in one section and then I had assessments in the back. If I hadn't done this, I think it would have been much worse, because I'll be frantically looking for the assessments before the test to really revise for the next one, and so it's really important that you systematically organize your notes. Also later down in year 12, the importance of organization really is highlighted. For instance, in the EPQ, it's stages of organization. The idea that you have to create a time management plan as to how you manage your time for the EPQ and the various sections. The idea that you'll create a timetable as to what the different sections are within the EPQ, introduction, conclusion, etc. And so I think it was really important that I started managing everything really well from the start, because if I had AS exams and APQ and I didn't manage my time effectively for both, I don't think I would have done great. And so it's really important that you can effectively manage your time. The idea that, for instance, the EPQ personal statement, you get always around the same block, and so by developing these skills really early to simple things such as folder checks, work-life balance even, I think really helps. Also, something that's unfortunately happened to me in the past is that I've misplaced my entire AES folder, and I can tell you that night before finding it was perhaps very stressful, because I didn't exactly know where it was, and I thought if I've lost all those notes, it's going to be catastrophic. And so it's really important, and I cannot emphasize it, that you really organize your notes really well by dividers and everything, and you don't misplace anything, because those notes are the grades those are the things that determine your A-level grades. Another way of looking at organization is that it's the foundation of year 13. If you organize your notes really well in year 12, the idea that the content that you've learned is built up further in year 13. And so this is really key, because if your year 12 content isn't great, then the year 13, which links a lot of year 12 and GCSE work, will be affected negatively because of this. And so I think that's another reason as to why I think organization is really important, and really being to effectively manage your time so that you can maximize the work you've done and also make sure the notes you've done are clear and concise. So that's it for this video. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I'll just give you my final concluding comments as to what I think you guys should learn from this video. So firstly, the idea, it's a new experience. Year 12 is a completely different thing. The idea that you do the subjects which you really enjoy, such as, for me, maths, bio, chem, and the idea it's cutting down all the subjects which you really don't want to do. However, needless to say, there will be a lot of work for each subject, and so it's really important that you stay organized and can effectively manage your time. Another thing to mention is that year 12 is such a vital year, because not only is it a big jump from GCSEs, but also is the foundation of year 13, which determines your A-levels and then your future career path. And so, not to put a lot of pressure on you, but it's really important that you do well in year 12, if not at the beginning, but you can improve later on. For instance, for many students at the beginning of year 12, they achieve really bad grades, but it's the idea that you really learn from this. Even if you achieve badly in some assessments here and there, the idea that if you can learn from these assessments and then really work on them, so that near the end of year 12, or when, for example, we were supposed to have AS exams, then in the AS exams you make sure that you perform your best. It's really a learning curve. The idea that you start off with small and simple steps, getting used to year 12 and all the different subjects, the timetable, the SIL periods, etc., and then slowly getting better and getting used to it, so that you can achieve really well in your exams. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for future videos. Sorry this was uploaded really late. I had many university things to do, and so hopefully more videos to come soon. Thank you for watching.